Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1691B, and today's date is October 16th, 2018, and the title of the episode is Another Flip, Trump Preparing the Masses, More Carpet Bombs on the Way. Let's get into the economic collapse, political, and geopolitical news. Now, a lot of people have been wondering why Q has been dark right now, where Q hasn't been posting anything, and I think there are certain things behind the scenes that are going on that they didn't want out there just yet, and I think we will learn about them as we move forward. But there are certain operations where they're trying to keep it under wraps until everything is set up, and then Q will come out once again and give more information on that, and we will learn a lot more from this. And we can see there's a lot going on right now. And I just wanted to start off with Senator Elizabeth Warren here. And she is out there saying that she is Native American, and she's been saying this for a very long time. And she had this DNA test, which revealed that she has less than a half the Native American DNA as the average white person. Now, of course, everyone was out there saying, oh, look, Trump lost the bet. He owes her $1 million to her, favorite charity. And it turns out that this DNA test is completely bogus. And just because you have 0.1% doesn't mean that you're Native American. I mean, Trump tweeted out, Pocahontas, the bad version, sometimes referred to as Elizabeth Warren, is getting slammed. She took a bogus DNA test, and it showed that she may be 1/1024th, far less than the average American. Now Cherokee Nation denies her. DNA test is useless. Even they don't want her. Phony. He went on to say, now that her claims of being an Indian heritage have turned out to be a scam and a lie, Elizabeth Warren should apologize for perpetrating this fraud against the American public. Harvard called her a person of color, amazing con, and would not have taken her otherwise. Now, the Cherokee Nation issued a statement on Monday claiming that Warren's announcement makes a mockery out of DNA tests and its legitimate uses, while also dishonoring legitimate tribal governments and their citizens, whose ancestors are well documented and whose heritage is proven. Senator Warren is undermining tribal interests with her continued claims of tribal heritage. And Trump jumped on that too, tweeting the following. Thank you to the Cherokee Nation for revealing that Elizabeth Warren, sometimes referred to as Pocahontas, is a complete and total fraud. Now, Elizabeth Warren, she fought back with her tweets. Millions of people watched you, at Real Donald Trump, as you fumbled and lied on your 1 million pledge. It then took a day for your handlers to tee up this recycled racist name-calling. You've lost a step, and in 21 days, you're going to lose Congress, Elizabeth Warren. So let's look at the DNA test, the DNA expert. Now, the DNA expert she used was from Stanford University, Professor Carlos Bismonte. I don't know if I pronounced his name right. Used samples from Mexico, Peru, and Colombia to stand in for Native American, as opposed to, say, DNA from the Cherokee Indian, which Warren has claimed to be throughout her career. The Boston Globe issued 2 major corrections in the reporting, and that they had vastly overstated Warren's Native American heritage. The first correction is, due to a math error, a story about Elizabeth Warren misstated the ancestry percentage of a potential 10th generation relative. It should be 1 to 1024. Take 2. Correction. Due to a math error, a story about Elizabeth Warren misstated the ancestry percentage of a potential 6th to 10th generation relative. The generational range based on the ancestor that the report identifies suggests that she's between 1/64th and 1/1024th Native American. Now, to be recognized as a Cherokee by the Eastern Band of the Cherokee, the senator would have to be at least 1/16th Cherokee as calculated by an ancestor on the 1924 Baker Roll, and Warren's results don't meet that threshold. So did Trump really lose that bet? Not really. And we can see that if many people take DNA tests, they're going to show that, yes, you have a small portion of being related to many different areas. Does that mean you are? No, because the tests are very misleading. I mean, if you look, you can see like, oh, this person's 0.001, this person 0.00001. That's meaningless. And she's trying to figure out a way to say, yes, I am, when she really isn't. Now, I want to go back to post 2381, and I want to talk about the entire post that Q put up because it leads into what has been happening with Wolfe and McCabe. And it looks like there are going to be more carpet bombs that are going to be dropped very, very soon because Trump has been signaling that more carpet bombs are coming. Now, in this post of 2381, Q went through the entire thing of who was fired, who was resigned, and basically went into how do you remove the installed blockade through the declass, Q says. How do you navigate around installed corrupt FBI Department of Justice? Who must authorize firing of the FBI Department of Justice officials? Why did McCabe try to take Sessions out? What was Sessions' Senate confirmation vote? Then Q finishes up with logical thinking versus clickbait. So we have come to learn that former Deputy Director Andrew McCabe in March 2017 leaked information to the media regarding former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and Trump. And this is according to documents that were released. The alleged leak, which has not previously been reported, occurred in early February 2017, shortly before Flynn was fired as National Security Advisor for lying about his contacts with Russia's ambassador. Now, according to the FBI documents, the FBI Office of Public Affairs received a complaint regarding a media leak involving a statement overheard in early February 2017. Specifically, the alleged comments were made by DDAG McCabe and pertain to General Michael T. Flynn and POTUS. And this is coming from the FBI document, which the Bureau released as part of a trove of documents related to an internal investigation of McCabe. The investigation, which was into the unauthorized disclosure of sensitive information, appears to have been opened on March 20th, 2017. The FBI became aware of the complaint on February 21st, 2017. Now, the documents do not reveal the nature of the information that McCabe allegedly leaked or what determination the FBI made. It just means that he leaked something. So he's another leaker. And then we move to Senate Security Chief James Wolfe. He was given a plea deal by the Department of Justice, allowing him to plead guilty to a single count of lying to federal authorities and avoiding all other consequences. Now, this is very interesting because it looks like this individual leaked the FISA documents, the 83-page FISA document. Now, he's only being charged with lying to the FBI. So let's go through what he has done here. The Department of Justice, they never openly admitted that Wolfe leaked the 83-page FISA application on March 17, 2017 from the Senate Intelligence Committee. And the media have never admitted to receiving it. So let's go through the backstory here. In March 2017, Senate staffer James Wolfe sent reporter Ali Watkins a copy of the 83-page FISA Title I origination application. Now, one of the pages is blank, so it's really 82 pages. And this is how we know he did this. On around March 16, 2017, the Senate Intelligence Committee requested a copy of the FISA application used against Carter Page. How do we know this? Because a part of the indictment against James Wolfe tells us what took place. Page number 5 of the Wolfe indictment, unsealed June 2018, describes reporter number 2 as Ali Watkins. Page number 6 describes one of the leaks, one of the very specific leaks by Wolfe to Watkins. So let's read this. Number 17. In or around March 2017, a particular executive branch agency agreed to furnish the SSCI with a specific classified document for official purposes. The classified document contained both secret and top secret information, including secret level information regarding the identity and activities of the individual referred to in this indictment as male number 1. On or about March 17, 2017, the classified document was transported to the SSCI. As Director of Security, Wolfe received, maintained, and managed the classified document on behalf of the SSCI. Now, the document described is clearly the FISA application used against Carter Page that was disclosed on Saturday. Note the description above the date of the FISA release disclosed. It was March 17, 2017. So this means that the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, the SSCI, has had the FISA application against Carter Page in their possession since March 2017. Now keep this in mind. The FISA application, original first application, is 83 pages, like we said before. But there's a blank page, so it's really 82 pages. So on page 6 of the Wolfe indictment, 82 text messages corresponds with James Wolfe texting 82 images of the FISA application to Ali Watkins. So he most likely took pictures of each page and sent them to Miss Watkins. So what does this mean? Reporter Ali Watkins has had a copy of the original FISA application against Carter Page since March 17, 2017. This also means that the U.S. Department of Justice has known about this since December 15, 2017. The SSCI Chief Staffer James Wolfe leaked the FISA application to the media in March of 2017. It also means the U.S. Department of Justice has known about the media, and they've been holding a copy of the original FISA application since March 17th. From the Wolfe indictment, we discover, on December 15, 2017, James Wolfe was busted. The FBI had him dead to rights. However, the grand jury proceedings didn't start until May 3rd of 2018. And the indictment was sealed until June 7th, 2018. That means 6 months passed between busting Wolfe on December 15th, 2017, and the indictment of Wolfe on June 7th, 2018. Now, this is very interesting because remember, there's a plea deal. Most likely, Wolfe flipped and gave them a lot of information, but we'll get into that in just a minute. So Miss Ali Watkins was identified and an appropriate search warrant was authorized by the court. Ms. Watkins was notified after execution of the search warrant. This was on February 13th of 2018. So how did they find the leaker? They changed the date on the document. They changed the dates within the FISA application, and basically they took the application with the wrong date and spread it around. So Wolfe was caught in a leak hunt, and the copy given to him included a specific, intentionally wrong internal date using October 19th as the original date for FISA application approval. The actual date was October 21st. The October 19th date then shows up in subsequent media reports, which were based on the leak. The New York Times, Washington Post used the wrong date. This is very interesting. So it spread like a virus throughout the mainstream media. So, despite overwhelming and easy to prove evidence against him, Wolfe was never charged with Carter Page FISA leak. Why? Because he's just the surface guy. They don't want him. They want everyone who put him up to it, who instructed him. Do you really think these individuals who are out in front are the masters, or do you think they're the puppets? They are the puppets. They don't care if these people go down. It's the other people that we're looking for. So what I think happened here is that they let him off on lying to the FBI, but got all the others because he flipped and he sang like a bird. So who is he covering for? Well, maybe it's the senators. Senators who were on the committee. Senators most likely authorized the leak and instructed him what to do and how to do it and how to leak it to the media. These are the individuals they're going after. So who are these individuals? Well, we have Richard Burr, who's the chairman, Mark Warner, vice chairman, Marco Rubio, Susan Collins, Roy Blunt, Dianne Feinstein, Roy Wyden, Angus King, Joe Manchin, and the rest. So the question is, did he flip to save himself? I believe he did just that. I believe he did what Lisa Page has done, what Bruce Orr is doing with his wife Nellie. They flipped and they're singing like birds, like Baker has done, and I believe like Loretta Lynch is doing. And a lot of that information about Wolfe came from the Conservative Treehouse, and I just want to thank Conservative Treehouse. Did a fantastic job on researching all that information. So then we had something else happen, and this is very interesting. Trump tweeted out the following, and he says in the tweet, "Is it really possible that Bruce Orr, whose wife Nellie was paid by Simpson and GPS Fusion for work done on the Fink dossier, and who was used as a pawn in the whole scam witch hunt, is still working for the Department of Justice? Can this really be so?" Trump. So basically, he's laying the breadcrumbs out there, getting the American people ready for this once again. And I believe we're going to see a lot more of these tweets. And I think Q is going to be coming online very soon. Now, Trump is threatening Honduras with cutting their aid. And the reason why he's doing this, and we have to go back in time, is because of what Obama has set up, where, catch and release program, where he had illegals coming in, and they actually had billboards and advertisements down in all these different countries saying, please send up your children to the U.S., and this way they can bring the families in. So right now there's a caravan of about 3,000 illegals headed towards the U.S. And Trump is saying, listen, this is not going to happen. If you allow this and you keep this up, all aid will be cut off from you. So he's warning the president of Honduras, and he actually tweeted this out. The United States has strongly informed the president of Honduras that if the large caravan of people heading to the U.S. is not stopped and brought back to Honduras, no more money or aid will be given to Honduras, effective immediately. So he's calling them on this. And what do you think is going to happen? They're going to make every effort to get these people back. Remember, under the Obama regime, this was part of their program to bring illegals into the country. And they had advertisements, billboards. You saw the beast train bringing all these people up through Mexico. Mexico is now clamping down with the new president. And we can see right now, Trump is going to stop the rest of the illegals by saying, listen, you do this, your aid is cut off. Now let's move on to Khashoggi, and there's a lot of things that don't make sense whatsoever. And the mainstream media, they are on a certain agenda to make sure that it was Saudi Arabia. And they're not stopping. Actually, CNN, which we mentioned yesterday, they're continuing, and a lot of people pick this up, saying that Saudi Arabia is ready to admit that they killed Khashoggi when they were interrogating him. Then they cut him up into little pieces and they, hid him all around in different places so you couldn't find him. And it doesn't make any sense. Because when you really look at what's happening here, Saudi Arabia has agreed with Turkey to have an investigation in the consulate. Why would they agree to this? It makes no sense. And why would they do it in the consulate? If they wanted to take this individual out, they could have done it anywhere. They could have picked him up anywhere. It would have been a lot easier. They could have killed him and made it look like an accident. They could have brought him to a completely separate area and interrogated him and then got rid of the body. They didn't have to do it in the consulate. If they knew he was coming in, like supposedly they did, they knew exactly where he was then, right? So this whole story doesn't make sense. Now, the Khashoggi family, they're saying, listen, we refuse the exploitation of our name to target Saudi Arabia. And the family of Jamal Khashoggi said that they rejected all attempts to use its name to attack Saudi Arabia and target its reputation. The men and women of the Khashoggi family are all loyal to the country and utterly refuse to use or exploit their name of the family in an agenda seeking to harm Saudi Arabia. Now remember, Saudi Arabia, they have done many, many bad things. The deep state is embedded in there. It's wonderland. Human trafficking, pedophilia, you name it. And we can see there was a coup in Saudi Arabia. Now Russia is welcoming the investigation where Turkey and Saudi Arabia have joined up and they're investigating the entire thing. Now what's very interesting is that there's a video of people with mops and buckets that were entering the Saudi Arabia's consulate hours before investigators appeared, and they were cleaning up the mess. Now, if there's an investigation going on, why would there be a cleaning crew coming in to clean everything up? It should have been roped off, no one allowed in whatsoever. And we can see that there is a problem here. Actually, Erdogan is out there, and he's not a nice guy either. He says some materials in the Saudi consulate were painted over. Now, out in Afghanistan, we mentioned this yesterday, where the Taliban said the peace talks are going very, very well with the U.S., and the next round of peace talks, they were going to be talking about withdrawing the troops from Afghanistan. Now we have the High Peace Council step in and say, no, this is propaganda. We're not talking about withdrawing the troops. No, this is not happening. Now we have to understand who the High Peace Council is. It was established in 2010, and it was intended to negotiate with the Taliban, and that's been 8 years now. How well has that gone? Not well at all. So the High Peace Council is holding out for the same thing they wanted from the start, a situation in which the U.S. can totally stabilize the country and defeat the Taliban. Well, who was involved in setting up the High Peace Council? Well, this was the deep state. Did they ever want peace? No. Did they want the Taliban destroyed? No. They wanted this war to continue on forever and ever and ever. So we know that this was not going to happen, and the High Peace Council still thinks they have power, which they don't. And you're going to see the High Peace Council, which really means the opposite. It means the High War Council. They're going to be overruled and probably disbanded, and there will be peace in Afghanistan. We see in Libya, Haftar, General Haftar, says the forces in Libya are ready to secure any electoral process in regions under Haftar's control. Haftar wants an election. He wants an open and free election. He wants people to vote. Remember, the government that is in Libya right now was placed in there by the U.S., the UN. They're non-elected leaders that are ruling Libya. Well, kind of ruling, but they're in there. And we can see right now the people don't want these individuals. We see right now there's a U.S. Special Envoy for Syria. They are traveling to Turkey, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia to push for a political solution in Syria and to establish a constitution. And this is all part of getting Syria back on its feet, having a political solution, and removing the troops from Syria. And this is where everything is moving right now. And Ambassador Jeffrey will seek to meet representatives of the Syrian people and reiterate them for our full support for UN Security Council Resolution 2254. And Russia has been pushing this resolution for a long time. And now we can see that all of this is happening at the same time. Peace in Afghanistan, peace in Libya, peace in Syria. We are almost there. And we can see with Trump putting out this tweet about Bruce and Nellie Orr, the carpet bombs are ready to be dropped, and they're preparing and getting ready to do this. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.